It is Friday, April 2nd, 2021. Welcome to Veda. I actually shot this yesterday. Oh boy, how do I begin this? A disclaimer / apology to my parents. Since I am going to be discussing my childhood and problems in my childhood, I'm going to spend a lot of time in these videos complaining about my parents, and they don't really deserve it, not to the extent that I'm going to be doing it. And they mostly did the best they could, and of course, a lot of it was society didn't understand this stuff. And, I've got a lot of happy memories too. It's just that, it doesn't really fit into the theme. So I just want people to know that I generally had a happy childhood, and that I didn't grow up in a Dickensian orphanage, as the way some of this is going to make me sound. Keep in mind, my parents were, and to a large extent still are, the most influential figures in my life. I mean, even now, I live nearby them, so if they have a problem, or if I have a problem, we're nearby. They're really the only people with whom I'm in regular contact during this pandemic. With that out of the way, I discovered something in between uploading yesterday's video and now, and that is that today being World Autism Awareness Day is actually a product of these smegheads, Autism Speaks. If you haven't heard of them, they, for one thing, they keep a large percentage of the money donated to them for themselves. And they also think that autism is a disease, and they're looking for a cure. And we're not sick. Our brains work differently. That's all. We are not inferior. In fact, we are superior. You flat scans are an evolutionary dead end, and I turned into Magneto there for a second. Sorry about that. Autism advocates, such as linked in the description here, and no idea how many links are going to end up being in there, have thought of calling Autism Awareness Day, and in fact, the month of April, Autism Awareness Month, Autism Acceptance Day and month. So please don't give money to Autism Speaks, and don't buy any blue light bulbs and light things up blue today. In fact, I'm not even going to wear anything blue. Oh boy, hold on. Oh, great. Great. Oh, how convenient. Okay. Oh, wedgie. Let me get the wedgie out here. Oh, what was I thinking? Wedgie would have been preferable. Or I could have just edited. All right, let's get these on. That was surprisingly easy. Now that the scripted humor is out of the way, Autism Speaks and the anti-vaxxers claim that the number of autistic people is increasing, either because of vaccines or because of, we don't know yet. Give us more money so we can find out. Autism advocates generally feel that the number is not on the increase. It's just that more people are being detected. And that seems likely, at least in my case. I was first diagnosed with autism in 2013, when I was 42 years old. In the mid to late 70s, when I was about 8 years old, I used to see a child psychologist regularly, and she didn't diagnose me with autism. She diagnosed me with hating my mother. I've mentioned this in a previous Vlogust video, and as I've said, I think that subconsciously, I don't want to rag on my parents too much, but subconsciously, my mother took it out on me. It's like, okay, I'll give you a reason to hate me. I don't really remember too much about those sessions. Well, I mean, that was more than 40 years ago, really? I do remember, well, it wasn't exactly mean to me, but I got the feeling she didn't like me. Maybe that wasn't what she was supposed to do, I don't know. Or maybe this was like with
when Richie was in ROTC and they said, "You gotta make your men hate you." Now I'm making references to a sitcom without even mentioning what that sitcom was. I remember there were 3 things I had to work on, and the only one I can remember is changing the subject. Apparently I've changed the subject too often, and I had to work on not changing the subject, even though I think that's actually a useful skill. The more I think about it, and the more I thought about it then, and I don't know. But there was another reason why I hated those sessions, and I don't know if that falls into autism or just not realizing how privileged I was. I went there once a week, and that meant that once a week I missed my favorite TV show, Batman. That's the 60s live-action Batman series. WPIX showed it every weekday at 5:30. And if you have any familiarity with that show, you'll probably know that most of the stories were 2-parters, which meant that I either missed the first half of a story, which, well, at least there was a recap, even if that wasn't as satisfying as actually watching the episode, or I missed the resolution to the cliffhanger. And remember, this was mid to late 70s. Home video was effectively non-existent. In fact, this might even be why I collect so much physical media now. Now, I couldn't have it then. Now I've got it forever. And yes, and this might be also why, despite streaming, I still want everything on hard copy. And I mean, I have other, well, I hesitate to say trauma, but also not sure what other term to use. Maybe it's the autism, or maybe that also involve missing TV shows. Later on, I was in the junior choir, and they rehearsed on Thursdays, which means I missed my favorite TV show at that time, Mork and Mindy. In fact, I think there is at least one episode of Mork and Mindy that I didn't see again until I finally released it on DVD. I think most of the others I managed to eventually catch actually in syndicated reruns or in Nick at Night reruns. And then there was this wedding. The children of some friends of the family, one of the children, got married, and they wanted my sister to be the flower girl, and well, she was really cute back then. I don't blame them. But so the whole family had to go, which means I missed Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown's television debut. I remember Leonard Maltin saying something like, "Mildly entertaining, but lacks punch." And when I finally saw the film, that was indeed my opinion. I saw the ending when it was on HBO. I finally saw it all the way through on home video. But had I seen it then, I think I might have not been quite so critical of it. And in fact, I might even afterwards have some nostalgia that made it seem better than it actually was. Also, well, it was poorly organized. My sister had the bride's table. We didn't get any kind of table. We didn't get any food. We were just standing around not sure what to do. And my parents sent me over to talk to them. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I wasn't diagnosed with autism back then, but I didn't. Even then, they knew I didn't really have that good social skills, but just putting me through that. And then years later, after the diagnosis, my parents were helping me buy a car, this one, in fact, still a great car, discussing what kind of insurance they should have on it. And the insurance they put on it was a kind of heavy coverage, including covering a rental car if something went wrong. Just for the first year. But I wanted that. I liked that. My parents decided they didn't want that, and I should go over to them and tell them that I don't want it. They didn't want it, but I was one who, I went over there and I did not pretend like I wanted it. I told them, I don't want to do this. I don't know why they sent me over here. They want me to tell you that I don't want this, but I do want this. Maybe a bit of a breakdown or meltdown or something down, but just like that memory that's already a bad memory because I missed something on TV. And that's kind of, I know, it's, wow, overprivileged, right? And the thing is, also, it wasn't so much getting everything I want, but living in a decent time. Both of my parents grew up during World War II, but in my dad's case, I don't want to say it was fine for Americans who had to live through rationing, and even if they were civilians, they still probably had friends and relatives who were over there and often never came back. But my mom, she lived in Germany during the war. they actually got bombs dropped on themselves. They were actually starving. And on top of that, the people who live in the UK, they had it bad too. But I mean, in Germany, they had a fascistic government. And, you know, if they lived in the East, then that was eventually replaced with an even worse, potentially, fascistic government. At least worse for the general civilians and even for the Gentiles who even lost that privilege, right? Wow, I'm getting more controversial. Point being, I think that the autism probably make that worse than it might be for a normal person. I don't know. Wow. I think tomorrow's video might be a little more silly. Today's task, take out the recyclables. Oh, even got some glass. Wow. Actually, the way I'm doing this video, I'll probably have done that before I finish the main part. I still did the task by the time tomorrow is, hopefully. By the way, I wasn't kidding about that not wearing blue today thing, which was kind of a pain this morning when I went to take a shower. My shower is here in the cellar. Normally, I wear my yukata here, but instead I wore this stupid, stiff thing, which I was kind of, well, could have been a disaster when I tried to put my phone in my tamoto here. This does have pockets, but can you... Gee! Baka na Amerikajin!